Dean James III, America's freedom fighters. Starbucks just got some terrible news, and so did the morons who drink their overpriced beverages. New reports have emerged that show that samples of the beverages contain a special ingredient fecal bacteria after Starbucks pledged to hire 10,000 Muslim refugees to rebuke President Trump's initial travel ban back in January. They committed enterprise suicide. That disgusting decision made people wonder what would happen to the quality of their product and customer service with illiterate third-world people with foul customs running shops. That nightmare has just come to fruition, perhaps regardless of the refugees' hiring spree, with test results proving that Starbucks is literally full of crap. But it gets worse, folks. Freedom Daily reports that 21.4% of Muslim refugees in the San Diego County carry tuberculosis, a disgusting disease that infects the lungs and is easily spread through the air by speaking, coughing, sneezing, or spitting. The location that Starbucks is picking their Muslim workers from is in San Diego County, a place where this highly contagious disease runs rampant throughout the Muslim migrant community. Starbucks held a hiring event exclusively for refugees in El Cajon, California on Tuesday, part of its recently announced commitment to hire more than 10,000 refugees over the next 5 years, Breitbart reports. El Cajon is located in San Diego County, where more than 20,000 refugees have been resettled by the federal government in the past 9.5 years since the beginning of fiscal year 2008. A 2013 study from a research team led by Dr. Timothy Rodwell, an associate professor and physician in the Division of Global Health at UCSD University of California at San Diego, that analyzed data from LTBI latent tuberculosis infection screening results of 4,280 refugees resettled in San Diego County between January 2010 and October 2012, noted that San Diego County, in California, is a leading refugee resettlement site, and it also has one of the highest rates of active TB in the country, with an incidence rate of 8.4 cases per 100,000 people in 2011. The incidence rate in the entire population in the United States in 2016 was 2.9 per 100,000. The study, which was funded in part by the National Institutes of Health, found that, of the 4,280 refugees resettled in San Diego County during the 34 months beginning in January 2010, 916 refugees, 21.4% in the study, had a positive QFT-GIT result. Table 1. Of those, 823, 89.8%, had a normal chest radiograph and were diagnosed with LTBI. Figure 1. 61, 6.7%, did not receive a chest radiograph. 14, 1.5%, had an abnormal result that was consistent with active TB, and 18, 2.0%, had an abnormal result that was not consistent with active TB. In other words, the incidence of active TB among the 4,280 refugees who were resettled in San Diego County between January 2010 and October 2012 was 327 per 100,000, more than 100 times greater than the incidence of active TB among the entire population of the United States in 2016. About 4% of the entire population of the United States tests positive for latent TB infection. Around 10% of those with LTBI will develop active TB at some point in their lives. The triggering mechanism to activate latent TB is not entirely understood, but high levels of stress, crowded living situations, poor public health practices, the presence of other diseases that lower the immune system, and behavioral conduct such as smoking appear to increase the chances of activation. The 21.4% of refugees in the San Diego County study who tested positive for latent TB infection is about 5 times the national average. Breitbart News contacted Starbucks to learn if their refugee hiring process will include mandatory testing for latent and active TB, but has not received a response. The Starbucks refugee hiring event will be held at the San Diego offices of the International Rescue Committee, one of the top 9 voluntary agencies VOLAGS that are paid over $1 billion each year to resettle refugees in the United States. KGTV reported about 30 Starbucks managers will conduct on-the-spot interviews at the International Rescue Committee's office located at 131 E Main Street in El Cajon from 11 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. on Tuesday, August 8. Applicants are encouraged to visit Starbucks' online career center prior to the event and bring resumes along with them. The store managers will talk to the refugee applicants about what it's like to work for Starbucks and review qualifications for the barista position. The world's largest coffee chain said it would focus initial efforts on markets where refugee need is greatest and there's a store base to meet the need. According to state and federal data, San Diego fits the bill. No other California county has received more refugees during the past decade than San Diego County. In 2016, San Diego settled 3,100 refugees, along with 520 military interpreters on special immigrant visas. California, like most states, requires TB testing for healthcare workers. Employees of restaurants are not required by California law to be tested for TB prior to hiring. The problem with hiring and accepting refugees is the cultural hygienic difficulties it creates. In Germany and France, the situation is so dire that a company has invented a multicultural toilet. Despite pictogram instructions, third world invaders don't understand how to use Western facilities. Many migrants will have never seen toilet paper before, writes one Deutsche Welle journalist. He added, refugees nationwide have squatted on toilet rims or the floor of the bathroom. Others have relieved themselves in the shower stalls, leaving behind human excrement on the floors. Last week, Starbucks renewed the pledge it made on January 29, 2017 to hire 10,000 refugees, after President Trump announced his temporary travel ban. The former Liberal CEO Howard Schultz wrote an open letter to employees that stated, "We are living in an unprecedented time, one in which we are witness to the conscience of our country, and the promise of the American dream, being called into question. It's absolutely disgusting that Starbucks would gamble with the lives of millions of Americans in order to make a political statement with their products. But if consumers are willing to ingest tuberculosis-infected coffee in order to show their solidarity with Muslim migrants, then perhaps the weeding out of the gene pool is something we should celebrate. The less morons running rampant and destroying our country, the better." HT Freedom Daily. So there you go. Now you literally get crap along with the liberal crap politics at Starbucks. Unbelievable. Follow us on Facebook at Nation in Distress, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, subscribe to our newsletter.